720 WGN, Mike Steven here on the Red Eye Remix, filling in for Amy Guth. 312-981-7200 is the phone and the text number here in the Allstate Showcase studio. Right now, we're listening to some music, some local music from way back when, from about 15 years ago, from the band Moreno. These guys are actually playing later on tonight. That's Sunday night at the Bottom Lounge. And this is a reunion show. These guys have not played, I think it's been about 15 years. And I've got two of the band members here in the Allstate Showcase studio, Chris Jasinski and Scott Rosenquist. Guys, welcome to WGN. This is a great reunion for me, too, because, I mean, I interviewed you guys. I get choked up when I talked about it. I interviewed you guys when I was in college, when I was 20, 21. Mm-hmm. I was on WLUW, which is Loyola's radio station, and you guys were nice enough to come in a bunch, and I think I've interviewed you 10 times over the course of the years, and now I don't think we've talked in 15 years. I haven't seen you guys.
No, this is a trip.
This is great. All right, so Moreno. So let's just set the stage here. So you guys, this is 99. When did you guys form? What year was that?
Formed probably, Sean Hewlett and I started playing music together probably around 95, 96.
Okay.
And started getting more serious about it. We were both working up in kind of Wrigleyville at the Guitar Center there. That's where we met.
Right on Halstead.
Moreno was born at Guitar Center.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, nice.
That sounds kind of horrible.
Brought to you by Guitar Center.
Exactly. But Sean and I were working there, and pretty soon formed a friendship, and then started playing music together. And then eventually found a drummer, Kevin Rosenquist, who was our Kevin Martinson, rather.
Kevin Rosenquist is my brother.
Exactly, who played bass.
Player.
Yes, exactly.
Nice.
Sorry,
Kevin
we were
Martin.
actually joking we should just have Kevin and Kevin come up here and just talk about being the guys who aren't in the band anymore.
Yeah, nice.
So I'm sorry, Kevin Martinson was our original drummer, and then a series of bass players, and I think at one time we were named Sugar Daddy, and that went by the wayside, and then we ended up with Moreno. And that's when Mike Schieber joined the band,
right?
Our bass player.
I remember him.
Yeah,
and that's
he's playing on the show.
He's part of the reunion.
Yeah. He's the main bass player, and then my brother Kevin, who replaced Mike for the last couple of years, he's gonna come up and do 2 songs.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah. That's great. So all right, so you guys were playing at the turn of the century, and that's when we. Yeah, isn't that crazy? That's when we met. But talking about your music and what was going on here in Chicago at the time, because in the late 90s and early 2000s, Chicago, I feel, was the place. And how lucky were we to be here in the midst of all that with great pop rock bands coming out of here, great rock bands. You guys were a part of that. I feel like there was such a buzz in 99, 2000, 2001, and you guys were a part of that. So the music that you're playing, we heard a little bit there. I mean, it's a little heavier, but it's not too extreme. How would you guys classify what you do?
Well, I think that there had been a couple of articles written where they referred to it as melodicore.
God,
so
there's all kinds of
there's
post rock.
Post rock is kind of what. It's funny. I was thinking about the post rock thing. I think that's where the influences come from. But then it's we straighten out. There was just this article in the Chicagoist, and he described it. He said, they call themselves post rock, but make no mistake, this is a MFing rock band.
I don't even know what post rock is, and shoegaze and all that stuff.
Yeah, the way that I just refer to it is it's big guitars, but not too chunky, and actually melodic. Sean has I think a lovely, he's got a lovely melodic style to his voice, and it's not screamo. I mean, the melody is very important, but just we're really loud.
Yeah, and he
big
sings
guitars.
mid-range. He's very mid-range. But I think that post rock. My brother was just talking about this. He said post rock now is explosions in the sky. I guess is what
God,
more
I
kind of
feel
instrumental.
old.
A lot of time. I know.
Man.
But I mean, if you look at all the stuff that was going on, I mean, the stuff that we could, theoretically be compared to. I mean, Sunny Day Real Estate was just kind of coming up and around then, and that's kind of, Foo Fighters kind of sprang from that.
Yeah.
but
there was that
we were
the
looking at
Champagne
different
Urbana
stuff.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
like
that was
Hum,
huge for us.
Right.
Hum,
Menthol.
Menthol,
Yeah.
and then Shiner specifically. Shiner is something that we kind of all coalesced.
Yeah.
Out of Kansas City.
Yeah, no.
So Shiner, Molly McGuire, and we kind of fell into that Midwest scene.
Right, and again, going back to what was happening here in Chicago, there was such just an energy here in the city at that time, and
They were calling this like what we were part of, kind of the second wave,
Yeah.
like where you had, the mid '90s where you had your Local H and your Liz Phair, and then
Your Pumpkins.
yeah,
and your-
Pumpkins and Urge Overkill, and then there was the kind of the bands that got signed but didn't really take off, like Triple Fast, like they're legends and I adore them, Fig Dish,
Sure.
but they didn't, they didn't really, they got their record deal and then it just kind of fizzled, and then there was kind of a tension on, a lot of so there's that compilation CD that WLUW put out,
Yeah.
that had every band from that time, and that was like the Cells, this band called Seamus,
Yeah.
who I actually play with the singer from Seamus in LA now.
really,
Yeah.
That's
We
so
just started
crazy.
a band together called Dead Years, and
just
then-
as an aside,
who
the
else?
Cells are also playing with
the
us
Cells
on
are opening.
Sunday.
Yeah, we should also mention later on tonight at the Bottom Lounge on Lake Street. It's an awesome venue. Moreno is reuniting. This is your first show in 15 years, is that
in
right?
this lineup for sure.
And I haven't even we haven't been in the same room together for 15 years. So I hadn't seen Chris in 15 years. I hadn't seen Mike. I saw Sean at my brother's wedding, which was a couple of years ago, but I hadn't really seen him since.
Wow.
So it was a trip. Like when we first got here, and it was like big hugs, and it was like just running through the songs the first time. It was like it was
Doesn't it feel good?
Very cool.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
very
I mean,
cool. More so than I
surprisingly,
even expected. Yeah.
It was. I think we all had quite a bit of trepidation about it because Sean had gone on. Moreno had. I left the band to pursue a different opportunity. Moved out to California, and the band went on as a 3-piece for about 6 months?
No, about
7, 8.
When did you leave? Was it 2001?
Yeah,
the last show was in 2001. So
Where was it?
December 2001 at the Double Door.
Yeah.
Double Door. Yeah.
Right, and even that was kind of a reunion show because I had left earlier in the year.
Right, that's true.
And so that was the last with the kind of classic lineup.
Yeah.
All right, so Chris, you went out to California.
Yes.
Scott, you ended up in L.A.
Yeah, but I came out in 2004, and now I've been living there ever since. You went out when?
We kind of. I went out in 2000, came back to the Midwest in 2004, so we kind of crisscrossed.
Missed each other.
Yeah.
And I just went out there. You know who actually I went out there with? Do you remember Evil Beaver?
Yeah.
Evie from Evil Beaver was like, I can't deal with another winter. Let's move to LA. And we had like 3 or 4 people that were all going to go out together. And then it ended up just being me and her that actually made the leap out there. And when I got out there, I was trying to find a band, and I ended up playing in this band called The Shocker, which was fronted by Jennifer Finch from L7.
Oh, really?
So-
I interviewed L7 like in
Did you really?
99.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
They were, and I think I was 19 in 1999, and I'm like, hello, nice to meet you. And they came in, and they were like full on just
Crazy
full
rock stars.
throttle rock
Full
stars.
rock star.
I mean,
Was it at WLUW?
it was at LUW.
Wow.
Yeah, it was sunglasses inside. That's what I will say. That's
Oh, yeah.
They looked like they had been up all night for like a week.
Yep.
And I had to edit that interview pretty heavily.
Oh, I'm sure.
It was
I'm sure.
recorded, thankfully.
Yeah.
And I edited the heck out of that thing. But
They're reuniting too.
oh man, that reunion show, that's the one.
And that's the original lineup too, because Jennifer left in like the mid 90s or like later 90s. So by 99, it wouldn't have been her that was with you. And then now they're reuniting as the classic lineup, including her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll learn about why you guys are getting back together. We'll talk about the Chicago music scene. And we want to remind everyone that there's a bit of a rock show happening tonight at the Bottom Lounge. Moreno is reuniting. The Cells are also on that bill. And anybody else? Just you guys.
A band called All the Animals, which we used to play with this band. There was
Lift Point.
which
I remember them.
We keep
Yep.
calling
Yeah.
Lucas the singer a kid because now he's probably your age. But at that time he was such a young guy and he had this band, and now he has a new band. It's going to be their first show. It's actually some of
cool.
the guys from the Blank Theory are in the band as well, and
This
so
is
it'll
crazy.
be their first show.
A little
opening.
Chicago music reunion.
Yep.
Stay tuned. More with the guys from Moreno. I'm Mike Steven. This is 720 WGN. .720 WGN. Moreno loves their long intros, and then they come in pretty hard.
That snare blew my brother's eardrums out today when we were rehearsing.
Yeah, I think my eardrums just suffered the same fate. Mike Steven here with you on the Red Eye Remix, filling in for Amy Guth here on 720 WGN, listening to the local music from the band Moreno. They are back after 15 years. They are reuniting tonight at the Bottom Lounge on Lake Street with The Cells and what's the other band?
All the Animals.
All the Animals. What time does that show start, guys?
Early. It's all ages.
Doors
Oh.
at 6, show at 7.
Or it's 6, show at 7.
Yep.
Chris Jasinski is here and Scott Rosenquist. These guys are part of the band Moreno, and we're talking about how they're reuniting after 15 years. Now, I'm assuming you guys rehearsed a little bit.
In the last couple days, we've crammed in
Yeah.
a lot of rehearsals.
Because you said before that you have not been in the same room together for 15 years up until recently.
No, not Thursday was the first time we had seen each other.
Wow.
15 years. So.
So why come back? Why do a reunion show tonight?
Well, I think, I don't know if a lot of bands reunite because there's acrimony and it's a way of working through it. There was never that for us.
Yeah.
It was a good breakup.
Yeah,
It was just kind of we all started doing our own separate things. I actually, right at that point, had started touring with Local H as a drum tech. And then
That's
Chris
right, I remember that, yeah.
Chris had gone on and done his other. You know what it was? A lot of it, we had a hard time replacing Chris because we tried to be a 4-piece again, and we couldn't find another guitar player that did what he did. And there's a kind of symbiotic thing with Sean and Chris that we couldn't duplicate. So we went down to 3-piece, and then it just kind of fizzled out.
Right.
And I don't think we recaptured the vibe that we had when it was the 4 of us.
I think too that Sean and I had a really, really good working relationship as far as the way that we wrote. Whereas I'd bring a lot of the riffs in.
Yeah, we got less riffy when
And then Sean would help kind of bring everything together and coalesce it and make it a song, and then obviously write his fantastic vocal melodies over the top of everything.
He's still got one of my favorite voices of all time. Like even now, if I wasn't in the band, I'd still. Even now at this point too, it's my most favorite band that I was ever in. So it was.
Does he still have that beautiful bald head?
He does.
He does.
And
He
now we
does.
have 2 bald guys because Mike is also.
He's bald?
Does he need to? He didn't need to do that though. He just started shaving his head.
No,
right?
I think it's necessary
Because you
it
guys
might be unsightly.
Chris, you're killing it, man. You got a nice head
It's
of
like
hair.
the only thing I got going for me.
You got the facial hair, the salad up top is banging. Scott, you're looking good too.
Oh, thanks.
But again, as we were,
look at you, too.
well, here I am.
Yeah.
Here I am. As we were talking about, I met you guys years ago, 15, 16 years ago, when I was doing college radio, and I would interview you on my show, the Steven in the Evening Show.
I loved that show.
On WLUW, and that was fun because I felt like I was so plugged into the music community.
Absolutely.
In Chicago, and again, I haven't done music radio in so long, so maybe I feel like I'm a little disconnected from what's happening here in Chicago. So when people will still ask me, first of all, people will still come up to me and say, Steven in the Evening. I'm like, I haven't done that
Really?
show in 15 years. Also,
That's
it was
awesome.
a 100-watt radio station.
It made an impact.
I guess it did, but
That's what's cool. Like even we're discovering that too. That when people look back, Sean did another radio interview where the guy was talking about, our place in almost like the Chicago scene, history of the scene, and at the time you don't feel like you're making that kind of impact, and then even on a small level. I mean,
Right.
all this is very, very modest for us, but it's But it's fun, like just like someone recognizing you and knowing your show from 15 years ago on a small station, it made an impression.
Right.
And
right.
That's pretty awesome.
Validated, all the time and effort that you put into it. And you guys understand being in a band that you start yourselves, local band, it's so tough. And this was back in the day, when you guys were coming up. It sounds weird to say, but the internet was just starting to boom.
I know.
And remember MySpace and all that stuff?
Yeah. It was predated that too, though. I mean, MySpace wasn't even a thing when we were.
Yeah, none of this just stuff maybe was very, very, very.
I guess it was.
We were still.
MySpace was 2002, I think. Right?
Was it? I think you might be right.
Yeah.
We were giving each other burn CDs. That's what we were doing, right?
Absolutely.
Like we did tonight.
let's have old guy reminiscing.
Yeah, we're old.
Yeah, I know, right,
I know.
right.
Well, you know what's been interesting is I've seen this with a lot of other bands that are reuniting, because like there's other, Veruca Salt's back together, Failure's back together, Swerve Driver's back together, all these bands that were part of that scene. And the difference between us and them is we're playing this show, and then that's it. I don't think there's no plans to like get the band back together officially. But,
right.
But you know what we actually did do? We wrote a new song that we're going to play at the show.
Cool.
The debut.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But on that aspect of it, I think that there's a weird kind of paradigm in rock music that I think might be shifting a little bit. You look at country music, you look at artists like Dolly Parton, or these artists that Willie Nelson that have just continued to make good music, and there's kind of no penalty for their age.
Right,
and rock tends to be, you're over 30, we want nothing to do with
right.
you.
Yeah.
But I think that might be, Veruca Salt's still making great music, Slater Kinney.
Yeah, Slater Kinney's back.
They're
too.
back. Yeah.
And
even L7, like I said, know. So
right, terrifying. But I want to say that you guys are playing tonight at the Bottom Lounge. That's 1375 West Lake Street in Chicago. That is a 7 p.m. show. The doors are at 6. It's an all-ages show. You're playing with The Cells and The Animals.
All the animals.
All the Animals. That would be great if you were playing with The Animals.
Yeah,
right. That would be
I'd be pretty stoked. And if
Eric Burden came
Lucas
back,
called his band The Animals, he'd have a problem. I think there'd be people coming after him.
By the way, earlier in the show, I talked with Alderman Joe Moreno. So this is kind of like Moreno night here on WGN. And the Bottom Lounge, I believe, is in the First Ward, which is in Alderman Moreno's ward.
All right, so he'll be at the show.
Well, he's got to be,
Yeah.
right?
We're going to have to get him a CD at least.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That's right. He's going to be very, very particular about the band.
Right.
right.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
It bears my name.
That's
better
right.
be good.
That's right. So after this, guys, probably not another show from Moreno, or maybe
Well,
you'll
who
wait
knows
another
what-
15 years.
Yeah,
Who
I
knows
don't
what
know.
the future holds? Sean and I have had some discussions about, seeing if it's possible to be co-located and still be songwriting partners.
Right.
Right.
And
I mean, again, technology, we could do it.
Yeah.
I mean, the new song that we wrote, Mike recorded Sean playing it on his phone and posted on YouTube, and that's how we learned the song.
Wow.
So,
wow.
yeah.
Well, we've come a long way in 15 years.
It's a
haven't
lot
we?
easier. But I was going to say the social media thing is such an interesting thing, because we've been posting, pictures and rehearsals and flyers from back in the day, and I'm seeing the way bands kind of how you have to kind of market yourself in a way, in a different way, where you have more ability to do it on your own, but that a whole level of stuff that we didn't deal with back, or didn't even
We didn't know
have the
about it.
opportunity
Yeah, right.
to deal with back in the day.
But we still did it. I'm very proud to say that we did one thing I think very old school and very correct.
Oh, yeah.
Is back in the day, to use that phrase, but kind of back when we were coming up, we were also playing with another band, Dianoga, that was a Chicago band, and Jay Ryan from what did the Birds.
I don't know what band you guys knew him.
Yeah, so
his
the
poster company.
Yeah.
I wish Sean was here; he would spit it out.
Yeah, but he's an amazing poster artist.
Yeah.
And we reached out to him again to have him do another poster for this show.
Oh, cool.
So hand printed, hand screened, numbered.
yeah.
That's still a thing. Yeah. People
Yeah.
are doing that. That's awesome. That's great.
We're gonna have posters. We got some T-shirts printed up. Sean's gonna try and sell the remaining CDs that we have left.
Well, now instead of like merch girls, you guys have children. You can the children, and they're here.
It's funny
Chris,
that you
brought
say
your
that. We
kids.
are going to make them actually sell our merch at the show. So
Good.
Yes.
That's why we have kids.
Come see the
Absolutely.
kids.
My
put
kid's
put them to work.
just over a month old. He's already wearing Outside the Loop hats. That's my radio show that I do on Saturday mornings. And he's got the shirt.
Well,
always,
they
always
used
got
to
to be
have,
selling.
They used to frontier times. They used to have children to help with the fields.
Right.
Mine are going to help me. Hump gear.
Right.
You know,
There we go.
And sell CDs. Hey, the show's all ages. You can bring your kid, put some headphones on.
Yeah, no, he totally. I'd be a great parent if I did that. Absolutely, nobody would call the DCFS.
Right.
on.
Yeah.
Guys, it's so good to see you. This was a nice reunion that we got to do here on the radio. And again, the show is tonight. It's Moreno, the Cells, all the animals. It's at the Bottom Lounge at 1375 West Lake Street in Chicago. It's a 7 p.m. show, so be sure to go there and enjoy the music. And do you guys still have a website?
No.
We have a Facebook page.
We have a Facebook
So
page.
search for Moreno on
exactly.
Facebook.
It's funny
Yes.
because we found some old stickers that had our old site, which was morenomusic.net. I don't even know what's there now.
.net.
Yeah.
All
Dot-
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
whoever has that URL sitting on a gold mine right now.
Yeah.
Even then, we couldn't get .com, and that was 12, 15 years
Yeah,
ago.
right,
whatever,
right. Guys, it's so good seeing you. Chris Jasinski, the guitar player for Moreno, and Scott Rosenquist, the drummer. Thank you guys so much for coming by. And
It's been great being on
great
Stephen
to
in the
see you.
evening again.
Steve, even at 50,000 watts
Yeah.
of power, man.
Down here on Michigan Avenue,
That's
looking
right.
out on the street.
That's right.
People making crazy faces at us.
Hey, say hi to the rest of the band because those guys are awesome.
Yeah.
And the Cells. Love those
Yeah,
guys.
and
Yeah,
it's Sean's
absolutely.
birthday today, so
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Sean.
Sean's
You
birthday.
young, beautiful bald man, you. Stay tuned. I'm Mike Steve.